I, of course, have the teen brain in action in front of me. So I want to read a little bit about this. This afternoon, I'm sitting on the kitchen table reading from another of my stack of books. This one is called Why Do They Act That Way? When Lizzie comes bounding down the steps, beaming, she's wearing a t-shirt she designed by ripping apart and re-sewing 2 old t-shirts, a new pair of jeans, and a pair of Vans we just bought at the store an hour ago. She twirls around modeling for me, sashaying her hips, pouting her lips. "Don't I look hot?" she says. "Hot? My 12-year-old daughter?" I take a deep breath. "You look just fabulous," I say, trying to sound like a British fashion photographer, although I didn't make it sound like that just then. "And what do you think of this shirt?" I tell her it's amazing, creative, colorful, a work of art. She winks at me and disappears back upstairs. I continue reading, and I'm just parsing the sentence that begins, "You're a volatile teenager," when I hear her shout from upstairs, "These shoes really suck, and I hate them." I hear a loud noise as the shoes, the ones we just bought, tumble down the stairs. "And these jeans," she yells down, "they make my butt look big, and I'm never gonna wear them." Okay then. I can't think of anything to say other than, "Are you," expletive deleted, "kidding me?" Which I understand even in my agitated state is not the appropriate response. I keep quiet, I keep reading. Maybe if I focus on the page long enough, my frustration will dissipate. A few minutes later, she comes downstairs and makes her way into the kitchen, where she peers at me to see if maybe I'm in a coma or something. There must be a reason I didn't shout back at her. "We never should have bought these shoes," she says, glaring at me. "I hate these shoes." She's baiting me. I want to remind her that we made a special trip to go look for these shoes, that we spent an hour shopping for them, and that they were her choice, and that she thought they were perfect then and just 10 minutes ago. I don't say any of it. It's not that I've suddenly miraculously reached some new level of understanding or enlightenment. I'm angry. My buttons, especially the one that says, "If you don't appreciate all the things I do, please press here," have been pushed. But the situation is so perfectly matched to what I'm reading that even I see the humor in it. I say all the things I want to say, but I just say them in my mind, not out loud. Out loud, I say, managing a small smile, "I'm just reading about the unexpected drama of living with a teen." She sniffs. "Whatever." And then she stomps back upstairs. I wish I could report that the next day she wore the shoes. It would be great if unpredictable mood swings were, well, predictable. Like a metronome swinging back and forth. For every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. But apparently, just because she loved something one minute and hated it the next, doesn't mean that she'll love it again a minute later. Which is to say, she never wore the shoes. Months later, the cat threw up on them, and I tossed them in the garbage. And she seemed so charming when she stood up when I introduced her, didn't she? That's the nature of the werewolf. You know, this is the good phase. So, I spent more time in middle school than anyone would ever want to spend, including students. I went through it myself for 3 years, and one of the things that I think brought Lizzie and I closest during that time was my realization, and then her realization of my realization, that I couldn't actually make it through an entire day of middle school without leaving the building. There's something very, prison-like about elementary school and middle school. When you're not allowed, it's a closed campus, and you're really not allowed out of the building, and you're not allowed in the hallways or and so the iron door closes behind you, and you're there. And I got through, I think, 4th period, and then I had to go out and get a cappuccino or something, and then come back, breathing the air of freedom, and then coming back. So Lizzie loved the fact that I couldn't make it through an entire day, which she did 5 days a week. And she also liked when I came back at the beginning of 5th period with something for her so that was good. One of the other places I went, I volunteered with Lizzie's permission to be a counselor at her summer camp, which was interesting. And we did a lot of mall trips, and I'm just actually writing about a particular mall trip for a magazine right now. And most of those trips were incredibly painful. And now that we go shopping together, and we generally come home under 3 hours with purchases and no blood on the floor. And this is pretty amazing, because generally, through this entire book, except for the very last shopping experience, we're simply unable to shop together. And this is so tough, because I always thought that, of all the things, of all the sort of iconic things that mothers and daughters did together, they went shopping together, and we just didn't know how. And now we do know how, so that's good. Another place I went that was really interesting was to Lizzie's online world. And that was very different than my online world. It's not like I was one of these older people that didn't know what a computer was, although the way that I was operating this before, you would probably think that. But she participated in a social media chat group, Second Life kind of site called IMVU. I don't know if anyone has ever done this. I think it's mostly for kids. And you get to choose an avatar, and then you get to make the avatar look like whatever you want. So mine was a lot younger than me and wore hot clothes, so that was fun. And then you get to meet other people who are pretending to be younger and hotter than they are, and you talk to them. That makes it sound so risky, and it's actually less risky than that. But we did. She taught me that. She tried to teach me Halo, which that was not good, and Guitar Hero, and just some of the things that she was particularly interested in. And I guess that before I read the last thing that I want to read, one of the things that I think, and I don't know what Lizzie would say about this, that brought us closer during the research of the book is just what I'm talking about, is that switch in power, that empowering my daughter, because I was doing something, or I was doing something that she knew how to do and I didn't know how to do. Or I was in a world like middle school or summer camp that she knew that I didn't know. So it's not like you empower your child to, go out, have fun, do whatever you want, get drunk, drive a car. Not that kind of empowerment. But when you shift the balance a little bit so that you're not always the one who is completely in control and the one who's pulling all the strings and the one who knows all the answers, but you are asking questions. It's really kind of, I wouldn't call it a trick, but it's what a good journalist does. You don't walk in there. When you empower your sources to tell their stories to you, you change the balance of power. You're not the aggressor. You're not the arrogant reporter walking in the room, or the arrogant parent thinking you know everything. And I think that shift, which was sometimes subtle and sometimes not subtle, really helped both of us. So, And here, what I'm going to end with is